Alright, so this video is going to be about, the young ladies with kids that's living with their mom, or living with both parents. And so, this my puppy in the frame. You're going to always see him because it's not about me. And, I just want to encourage you, because it's hard when, you have a child and then you living with your parents, because I've been in that situation. I got 6 kids. I'm 45 now. My youngest will be 17 this year. And so, I had my first kid when I was 15, my second when I was 18, and I was living with my mom at the time. And, things were different back then. We when it came to respect and stuff like that and keeping the house clean, that was a known thing. Like, you had to do that. And so I see a lot of videos out here, with the mom arguing with the daughter about her behavior and her not watching her kids and all that kind of stuff. And, it breaks my heart because I done been in this situation before. My daughter lives with me and she has a child. But even before she had a child, we had a tumultuous relationship where we were always arguing and always going through stuff. And, once we identified what those root causes were, I could understand her anger and we got help for that. And our relationship is much better now. And so I'm just here to encourage you that if you are that young adult who's had a child and you living with your parent, you're going to have to respect their house. That means you're going to have to clean up behind the child. If that child throwing food everywhere and stuff like that, you need to make sure they're eating at the table or they're eating in the area where they're not messing up the carpet. Like, if you want to keep the peace in the house, you're going to have to clean up around that child. You can't just let the child do what they want to do, break stuff, tear up stuff, all that stuff. You got to clean up behind them. So that's number one. You can't just be sitting out posted up on social media and stuff and your child just running around, or you think your mom's supposed to babysit all the time and all that. No, you need to ask your mom, can you babysit? You need to be doing something with your time. You decided to have this baby. And, I had another video about, having these kids out of wedlock. Yeah, you might be mad at the dad because you thought you was going to be living with him, or I don't know what you thought was going to happen, but it ain't happening how you thought it was. So you living with your mama and you irritated with her. She probably irritated with you, depending on what y'all relationship like. She probably irritated with you and saying side stuff, snide remarks to you. You're going to have to kiss butt a little bit because she probably not asked to be no grandmama right now. And she's probably having to bear the burden of helping you take care of that child. Buying stuff for the child, getting you around if you don't have transportation, watching the child, getting you to doctor's appointment. She's probably being the dad. And that really is unfair to her. So, yeah, you're going to have to be nice. You're going to have to bite your tongue. You're going to have to not be speaking disrespectfully because she is helping you. She is being there for you, and she didn't ask for that. She didn't ask for you to go out there and make that baby. We're not going to get into what her story is. We're talking about you right now. You got to take accountability for that. So you need to have that child on a routine and a schedule. You need to have a designated place for that child to eat. You need to be cleaning up behind that child. You need to not be expecting your mama to watch the baby. You need to make sure that baby ain't crying and making noise at all hours of the night and all hours of the morning when she might have to go to work. Those are things you're going to have to do. And when she gets frustrated and irritated by it, you need to be listening to understand, not listening to respond, trying to clap back, trying to say something bad. You need to not be disrespectful. And if y'all got issues with y'all relationship, y'all need to sit down adult to adult and talk about them. But you living in her house. And so you need to respect her. And you need to respect her house. And keep your child in order. And then you need to be doing things that's going to help you get out of this situation. Whether it's in school, whether it's working, wherever it is, she needs to see you working towards something. She needs to see you have some goals. She needs to see you not out there trying to drink and smoke and live your best life when you got a child you need to be taken care of, because that's not helping you get out her house no sooner. That's not helping you get out her house no sooner. And she does deserve that peace, especially if she's raised her kids and all that type of stuff. Then it's time. It should be her time to be an empty nester. And because she's not an empty nester, then you need to be doing everything you can to create peace in the household. Not having drama with the baby daddy. Not bringing no drama to her house. Keeping her house clean. cooking dinner and stuff sometimes, so she don't have to. Buying some groceries, putting groceries in the refrigerator, buying toiletries, communicating about what your goals are and how you working towards those goals. It's time out for trying to be cute and trying to be fly and hang with your friends. You ain't missing out on nothing. God chose you to have that child right now, and so it's time to be a mom. And those are sacrifices that you have to make. Now you can't go on no trips with your girlfriends. Now you can't do that. Now you can't be dating these random dudes. Now you can't be on no dang site. So what? This what you chose to do. That's a sacrifice you gonna have to make. I didn't get to go to the clubs and I ain't even get to go to my prom. I didn't go to my prom. I didn't do none of that. I didn't get to do any of those things because I chose to have that baby. Regardless of, and I know I was young when it happened. I had to give myself grace for the fact that, you know, I was young. I didn't know no better. But after I knew better, after I learned, I knew better. So everything after that point was those were decisions I made. I chose to have these kids. So those are sacrifices you're gonna have to make. And if you can't get down by her rules, if you ain't got nowhere else to go, then you need to shut up and be respectful. Hold your tongue. Be quiet. Do whatever you got to do to keep that peace in the household so you got somewhere to stay. Because don't nobody want to hear no side story about how your mama put you out, but you was disrespectful and you was nasty and you weren't doing what you needed to do. You weren't trying to handle your business. And that go for these adult women who out here living with their moms too, with older kids. I know women in their 40s still living with their mom and their kids. Kids, teenagers, kids grown, they still living with their mom. Ain't got their own place, but be out here talking about how these dudes don't have their own place and how they ain't got this going and how they ain't got that going. You don't either. You don't have it going either. You don't have it going on either. You can't even handle your own business, but you expect this man to be out here to get out here and make it quick too, just because you got pregnant. No, things don't just magically change because you get pregnant. People don't just magically get their stuff together. It's hustle mode now. It's time for you to get it together. And you got to be legit when you do it so you don't get yourself locked up or become no felon or nothing. That's the choice that you decide to make when you decide to have that child and they ain't got nowhere to go. So you living with your parents. You got to respect them. You got to respect that man and that woman in their house. You trying to argue them down and throw up stuff and blame them for what you going through, that's out the window. If you felt like they did you wrong and they the cause, then you need to go get you some help. Your parents are not licensed psychologists. You need to go get you some help or download one of them apps that help you out with your trauma. But now you got to get your stuff together because you got somebody depending on you. You don't have nowhere to go, and you need to respect that home that you living in. You need to be cleaning, sweeping every time they see you. You need to be doing something. That house need to be clean. You need to be respecting the house. Don't nobody need to be over there hanging out. You need to be taking care of your child. Baby need to be clean. You need to be cleaning up after that child. You need to be cooking dinner. You need to be doing whatever you got to do. If you're not working, then the house ought to be clean and you ought to be cooking. And you ought to be in school. If you're not working, that's what you should do. You should be doing. You should be in school if you're not working. If you can't go to work because you can't afford childcare or whatever, you need to be in school. You need to be trying to be an EMT, police officer, something that you can get certified for in a matter of time where you can have some gainful employment and benefits. Not trying to hang out there with your friends and not trying to have shots and shot o'clock and celebrate these birthdays and spend money on all this frivolous stuff. No, you need to be offering any type of money you got. You need to be offering it up to your parents. You go $30, mama. I know this not a lot, but here go $30. And by the way, I just want to let you know, I passed all my classes this semester. And what you want to eat for dinner on Sunday, I'm cooking. That's what my daughter do. And it took a while for us to get there, but that's where it goes. Because guess what? Parents have bad days. Parents have bad days too. And then here you is coming up in here and then brought another child up in this house for her to have to take care of. And you don't even know what she going through at work. You don't even know what she going through emotionally. So you need to be trying to help with the peace and not disturbing it and not being disrespectful. They say something about something not being clean. Yeah, you know what, mama, you right. Let me clean this up. And next time, I'm just going to sit him at the table. Next time, I'm just going to get him a small serving if he feel like he want to throw it down on the floor or whatever. But I'm going to clean it up. I got it, mama. Don't even worry about this. Anticipate her questions. Anticipate her needs. Be respectful to your parents, because they can put you and that child out on the street, and the only reason why you're not out is because that child is there. They love that child. So you just need to be respectful and know that you brought this situation into play. You brought this situation into play. I don't care what the dude ain't doing. You the one that's having to live up in the house with the baby. You stuck with the baby. That's right. And I said stuck because that's exactly what it is. You stuck. You don't need to be out there in them streets nowhere doing nothing. You ain't missing out on nothing. If anything, you eliminating the risk for something happening to you by being out there in them streets. Your baby was not a mistake, but just know it takes sacrifices once you become a parent. And when you living with your parent and you bring a kid into this world and you're not financially able, or you don't have no transportation, or whatever the case may be, you surely should not be being disrespectful.